Welcome everybody to the Bidness. Today we have some great artists on the show. Let's start with ladies first. We'll do Chelsea Wilde. She is a solo artist, independent artist from the Seattle area. She plays a little bit with the Diploids, but she also has her own music that she is actively engaged with at all times. Next down the line we have Jon E Bravo. Jon E Bravo, Mr. Kingpin, formerly Rude King, right? Rude King, and then now you're Mr. Kingpin. Very good, very good. I like the whole King thing he's got going on. Very good. Very good. We also have Royce McDaniels from the Gringos, and also does a little work with the Makeways, and I believe you are part of the Utah Ska Preservation Society.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. And then we have John Michael Jackson, formerly of The Big News, and now of On Holiday. Wait for the people. Yay! My name is Curtis. I play with a band called Monkey, and my co-host is Brian in Hawaii with all the clocks on the screen. So Brian. Brian will be so kind as to drop a bunch of links for all of your music and all of your stores into the feed so that that people are aware of what you are doing. And with that being said, what the starting question for every show is, what the heck did you do this year?
What did you do?
You weren't going insane, and that you were keeping active. Did you learn how to ride a bicycle? Did you learn how to fly a plane? Did you go on 1,000,000 walks? Did you start collecting mushrooms? What did you do? What did you do? And we'll start that off. Let's see. We'll start it off with Royce. Royce, what did you do?
Well, what did you do? This year was kind of crazy, man. Well, this past year, because bicycles exploded, and that's what I do in my day-to-day. I've been a bicycle mechanic for 15 years, and bicycles have been up for 85% worldwide. So I have been absurdly busy. I've been working last year in the heat of it in the middle of the summer. I was working like 70 to 80-hour weeks. So I was not looking for things to do. I was not bored out of my mind. I was working away from home. It was actually crazy because I have 4 kids and all my kids were homeschooled. And my wife and I both have continued working away from home and homeschooling 4 kids at the same time. So
wow.
It's been absurd. Yeah, absurd.
That sounds a little intense there, buddy.
Yeah, it's a little crazy.
And you sure you're not, are you Mormon? Are you Mormon?
I am Mormon, yeah.
Okay.
Are you Mormon? Are you?
I got 4 kids. I live in Salt Lake. I mean,
well, it's one of those questions that when you talk to people from Salt Lake, they're like, "No, I'm not Mormon." They're like,
no, well,
like,
there's
actually,
there's quite a few that aren't. So, but yeah, I am. I've just this year's been so stressful. I've lost some more hair on top of the head. So that's about it. That's where I'm at.
Nice.
I'm gonna catch up with Jon E Bravo.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Right.
And speaking of bald men, Jon E Bravo, tell us, what did you do this year to keep from killing everyone?
Oh my gosh. Not an easy task. Not an easy task. So let's see. I kind of, last year, the biggest thing that I did was I jumped on board with Supernova International Ska Festival.
That's right. You did all the tech stuff, didn't you? Yeah.
So
nice.
I know your pain. I feel your pain. And we ran basically through the rest of the year. We did a weekly live stream on Saturday nights. And then it included the big virtual fest that happened in June. Yeah. And that was like a 7-hour live feed. It wasn't pre-baked. I was like live switching videos, and Cooley Ranks was coming in hot. And so I learned how to do all that kind of stuff, producing in the background, video editing. I did some editing for some other people. I also kind of got back into art. So when I do music, I usually don't do art as much. And then when music's kind of on a lull, I jump back and start doing art.
Wait,
So
what kind
I did
of art?
Well, I do like very comic book style art.
Nice.
It's good stuff. I've been following you for a while, man.
Appreciate that. So I did the Inktober because my son wanted me to do Inktober. So I did that, and one of them I drew. I did like a ska theme, and then I just kind of ran with that and started doing ska themes. And so you could see, what do you call it? I made a channel for that, just posting some of the ones that I've done, and including some playing cards I think that we're still going to release for Supernova.
Nice. Put it in the comments. I want to see.
Yeah. Throw anything you guys want in the comments. I mean, like if you guys are talking about a show and you're like, man, I like this show on Netflix, just throw it in the comments. Everybody likes that kind of stuff. And speaking of throwing it in the comments, Chelsea, what did you do this year?
Okay.
What did you do? What's been your life?
I learned to surf this year. That's like actually not true. I am like the world's worst surfer.
No.
Told me.
Right after me. I'm the worst.
Crap, I'm bad. I'm really bad. But I got over like the idea of being terrified of sharks and being terrified of the water, and I'm learning to get up on my board. And it's cold up here in Washington, so I need a full body wetsuit with a hood and everything. And that's crazy. I only broke one bone doing it this year.
Is that the nose? Is that the nose picture?
In my face. Yeah.
That's an adorable picture, by the way.
I just put the link back up for your website. Which
if you guys want to see what I looked like 3 hours after I shattered my nose and then had to drive myself. It was 3 hours after because I had to drive myself home from the beach with like this gauze, and it was just bleeding, and people are like looking at me, and I'm like, it's not corona. Like, talk about a headache, and then they stitched my face across my nose because my surfboard smacked me right in the face, and I knew it was broken right away because I don't know, like raise your hand if you've ever broken a bone in your face, like right? And so I just was like so excited that I wasn't dead because it could have knocked me out and I could have drowned.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like walking up like the swamp monster, just like blood everywhere. And I get home and I was like, we're gonna memorialize this forever. But as far as music goes, surfing has like helped me, like because a lot of surfing is waiting. So you're sitting there waiting for waves to show up and this and that. So I went and got myself, you can kind of see it in the corner, there's two there. Got myself like a $20 Walmart ukulele. And nice. I had never really played the ukulele, and I have learned a completely new instrument. I've put more hours on that uke. Like maybe if I put more hours in surfing, I'd be a better surfer. But that's not an instrument that's normally in my repertoire. And so I learned a new instrument, and it's been really fun. And so I have all these when you listen to my music, you'll hear it's a little ominous. Like there's it's like all these minor chords and like whatever. But now I have all these like really happy songs that I don't know what to do with because ukulele is like so heavy. So I'm really excited about that, and we're gonna be recording those soon. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm hoping to hear some dark, dreary ukulele music though.
I'm trying, man.
The world needs more happy music, and if the ukulele draws it out of you, then so be it.
It's been fun, and that little instrument is just a piece of and it has scratches all over it. I just put it in my surf bag. I've never changed the strings. And so to record, I started recording all this stuff last week, actually because of this show inspired me. I was like, I got to get this stuff down.
Nice.
I'm borrowing, you can see the second one there, a concert ukulele from a friend so that it actually sounds nice when I record it.
Nice.
Fantastic. We want to get a picture of you on a surfboard riding it with the ukulele.
I'll send you one. I got one already.
Now the concert.
It's not pretty. It's like my face. I'm like falling off. Ukuleles like.
Was it
you need to digitally edit some fins in the background, just some sharks following you.
Yeah, you guys can recommend to me your designers and your editors to make me look great. Make me look great.
Fantastic.
My goal is to be really good at the ukulele and really good at surfing by the time I'm 55. So I've got like 20 years.
Awesome. Awesome. With that being said, Jon Michael Jackson, I'm gonna have to give you guys different names because there's two Johns here. So I'm gonna call Jon E Bravo. I'm gonna call you Bravo, and Jon Michael Jackson, I'm gonna call you Jackson. Okay. Is that cool? You guys down with that, or do you have some other nickname you guys like to go by?
Don't call me late for dinner.
There it is.
All right, Jon Michael Jackson of Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma. What did you do this year to not go crazy and kill everyone around you?
So this last year was really crazy. I did a few things, so I'll try to make it really quick. The first one, I was on tour with my band in California in March, and we did like a whole West Coast thing. We had like half of a tour left over, but like we played LA the night LA shut down. We played,
and you guys were supposed to come to Salt Lake shortly thereafter. I had set up a show for you.
Oh my God.
And we were supposed to play. So we played the last night in San Diego when the entire state shut down. And then the next day we were supposed to play in Phoenix. And we just called it. We were getting news from everybody that like all the states were shutting down, that COVID was hitting the fan, like shit was getting crazy. So we just decided to just cancel and go home. And so it took us like 2 days to get home. And because I'm old and I don't like to drive at night. There was that. And then we've been working on an album. We took like all of 2020 to like finish this album that I'm actually about to put out on March 5th. It's a Friday.
It's so good, you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been sharing it with a few people. I shared it with my co-host friends here. But yeah, so we've been working on that. It's been really crazy. We actually all live in high-risk families. So we recorded it here in my bedroom, in my drum room. And so we put that out. I started to get more serious about my record label. I have this little tiny record label that I've been messing around with for the last 6 years. And I'm finally going to do something. And of course, it's going to be my own band first. Yeah. But I'm going to do cassettes and CDs for On Holiday. Actually, the band's paying for CDs, but I'm doing the cassettes. We have a Kickstarter that's like tied to the website. So if you see our website there in the link, we have a Kickstarter for that. We're hoping to use it as a pre-order to get enough money to do vinyl as well. That would be insanely awesome. So, and then I also got hired at the Blue Note in Oklahoma City in February 2020. So I had to clean up all of that mess for like 3 or 4 months of all these bands canceling. And then I started, and then Oklahoma City for some reason started doing live music again this last July. And so we've been doing live music from July and onward. We haven't shut down. Luckily, I'm the only one in Oklahoma City doing it. I told them the only way I was going to do it is if we could do temperature checks and they have to have masks on. Like, I know it's a bar, but they have to wear masks for the shows. And I've been so conflicted about it. Like, I've been so weirded out about it. Like, On Holiday offered a few shows last year, even through July. And like, we'd be like, okay, we might play if things get better. And Oklahoma, I think now is like the absolute worst contraction rate in the entire United States, which is also like the worst in the world.
Yeah.
Actually, good point.
Yeah.
Well, there was that super spreader event that I remember, the Trump rally. Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good start.
I was not there.
That was also though.
Yeah.
Luckily, I work in a hospital and I got both vaccines already. Both.
Awesome.
Shots. So I'm already vaccinated up. And so between music, like helping other local bands play as safely as humanly possible, even though I don't necessarily recommend it. Been doing that, working on the album and working on my record label. And so I'm really hoping to be able to do like maybe 2 or 3 projects next year for bands around the country. I don't want it to be local to Oklahoma City. So any of my ska homies, if you're looking for something, it's not going to be glamorous, but hey, I can help you promote it. Just been doing that. And
we play in ska
or
bands.
not
Nothing is
ska
glamorous.
buddies, you know, or whatever.
Speak for yourself.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that that this panel is doing so much to stay active and to feel worthy in this era. You know, we've had a couple of panels where people are like, "What'd you do? Played video games. What else? A lot.
I did that too.
Yeah, right.
I thought you said in addition to playing video games.
Oh, yes.
Like I definitely went through like, I don't know, like 6 months of like COVID depression. Like,
yeah, everyone.
like
It
I
was
went
some serious
surfing,
stuff.
but it wasn't
Well,
pretty.
It was COVID depression, and then the feeling that you had to, because of your civic duty to and your humanity, you had to go out and march and defend Black people at the same time. How do you break people quicker than to say you can't see anybody or touch them or be around them, and then you also have to like march? It was a really crazy time for everyone, I think. Who had the craziest marches in their neighborhoods? Were any crazy stories? Salt Lake.
I'm from Seattle.
Yeah.
We had a
If
whole
you're in
section
Seattle,
of our
that
city
got
that
crazy.
was like,
That's right. That's
shut.
Were you?
It was,
were you
That section of your city taken
were you-
over, right? And,
Chelsea? Were you down at the Chaz at all, or?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
went down
Yeah.
a few times. I don't live near there. I'm in the suburbs closer to the mountains because I moved here for snowboarding and board sports.
Yeah.
But my gentleman friend lives right up by there, and he would go running through it every single day and like post like updates. And you know, when I went, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, no.
It was just awesome.
My brother lives in Capitol Hill, so he's like right there. So
I was really, I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced anything like that. And, you know, I work with a lot of teenagers and they were going, but there was some shenanigans. Like, I remember I slept up there at his place one night and I got woken up at like 2 a.m. I'm from kind of the Detroit area originally. So, you know, you get woke up by gunshots once in a while. And I heard what I thought was gunshots. And I just like rolled over and went back to bed because I was like, nah, it's like Capitol Hill, nah. And then I like read in the news that it was like this, somebody had died and I had like heard it from his window. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. But, you know, I'm really proud of Seattle for coming together and doing their thing. And, you know, I have a lot of friends who were very like right there. They live right there, you know? So, I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
And the craziest thing about that is them trying to repaint that as well. Antifa is the one that's causing all the crazy shenanigans, and it was not. It's never been Antifa. Antifa is not a thing. Antifa is the force of
I
good
can't buy a
in life.
T-shirt for Antifa. Are you kidding me? I want to buy a T-shirt. What are you talking about?
I'm personally still waiting for
a T-shirt from Big Antifa.
I'm
Really odd seeing the news about Seattle from other places. Like my friends from Michigan and the East Coast and stuff would send me things and be like, "Is this true?" And I'm like, "No, that's not." Like I remember one person sent me pictures that were literally from some protest in Italy, like where people are throwing Molotov cocktails and whatever. I'm like, that's not even Seattle. Like,
yeah, I saw a couple of those. There was one with a guy getting arrested and he had painted his face black, and they were like, you know, this Antifa is doing this, and it turned out to be from about 6 years ago, and it was a crazy guy on the streets in Montreal. I'm like, what? I'm like, they're not even, the police aren't even wearing the same costume. Like, this is ridiculous.
you know, it's definitely quite a summer.
It was.
A summer. I learned a lot.
Yeah, it really was.
Like, I'm so glad I live out here right now because I'm surrounded by people who just are so open and just out with what they're dealing with. And it's like, I was like, oh my gosh, like I was behind. And so I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful. All you people out there who are loud and proud, I am grateful for you because I'm learning.
Fantastic. You know? Fantastic. Yeah. I've always thought, like, no matter what you think what you want as far as like political leanings, religious leanings, all the stuff that make people hate each other. As long as you're an artist, as long as you express yourself in some way, you have an outlet, and then you don't do stupid crap. You don't throw a bottle through someone's window because they wore the wrong outfit. Like, don't hate on other people. Just fucking enjoy your life and make some music, or bake some bread, make some beer, whatever it is.
And it's amazing how music can bring people together and educate people. I mean, like, you at any protest that I've seen ever, there's always music. There's people playing on the street. There's people blasting things from whatever contraptions they have, and it's like your own personal soundtrack of revolution. It's really amazing.
I don't know if you guys, if anybody here has this in their hometowns, but we in San Jose and in the Bay Area wide, we have this thing called Bike Party, and it's just literally everybody in town brings their bicycles out, and then they drive in a big like amoeba, this big bicycle amoeba, and it just flows through the streets, and then they got a little route that they do.
They don't call it critical mass?
No. Critical mass is a different thing. So critical mass started about 15 years ago, and critical mass was a big, fuck you to cars and to fossil fuels. So critical mass was like, we're going to become this amoeba that goes really slow and takes up every lane, and then if you beep your horn at us, we're going to stop and throw our bicycle through your windshield. That's a different thing. So Bike Party came out of critical mass for all the people that like the experience of being on a bike, the communal experience of being on the bike with like 7,000 of your closest friends.
And throwing bikes through windows.
Yeah, a little less violent.
The cool thing is you start in a parking lot, right? And then you ride for about 2 or 3 miles, and you end up in another parking lot. And there's a DJ, right? There's a DJ, boom, 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 boom.
Nice.
And there's food vendors and all that stuff. And then you leave that parking lot and you ride around for another 3 or 4 miles, and you get to a third parking lot, and the same DJ and the same vendors have they set up over here. So they follow the bike throng around, and you can always get like a burrito and like some fucking dance tunes. So it's a really good experience, and for I don't know where I was going with that, but it was something you were saying in regards to how Seattle was and how we need an outlet. That's a really good outlet, and I think a lot of people have been talking about that being the first thing that people socially do once the whole social thing gets lifted, because you can bicycle, a couple of lanes across, or like behind someone or ahead of someone. And so you get to enjoy the outdoor breeze, the outdoor air, seeing people again, and you don't have to be within talking distance, 6 feet or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah. Bravo. What are people doing in your community to kind of are there any like outdoor events and things going on in Dallas, right? You're in Dallas?
Yeah, in Dallas.
Okay, great.
Dallas area. I'm in the north suburbs, but I mean, basically, I see a lot of people just getting out around my neighborhood. I do the same thing. Me and my daughter will go get coffee and just socially distance walk around. We have kind of like a little like a mixed use with apartments and restaurants and stores, like one of those areas. We have a lot of those here,
Okay.
like little mini cities.
Oh.
And we'll go, and it's like walking around a 3 square block of New York. It's really cool.
Aww.
And just get out and get the fresh air, sit on a bench, watch people play.
Nice.
Everybody's trying to stay real safe for the most part here. They're pretty good about enforcing masks everywhere you go, so we don't have a big problem with people fighting it.
Nice.
That's
nice.
Good. Yeah.
The last time we played with you guys was in Deep Ellum in Dallas, Texas, and that was the exact opposite. I mean, I tried to go out, and the club was jam packed, the backstage was jam packed. I was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to go out front, pretend to take a smoke because I don't smoke, and I'm going to eat a sandwich or something. And I went out there, and it was like, boom, 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 boom. There were just so many people just walking into me with their damn cell phones, like talking about Like, this is so cool. I'm a Deep Ellum. Look, bitches, I'm on Deep Ellum. Terrifying. It's a
So the last like 3 years, it got like that again. Like back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, it was like really big.
Yeah.
And all those clubs were hopping, and I saw so many ska shows back then that I even now I underappreciate how cool some of those shows were. But yeah, and then it died. There was a lot of violence going on in Deep Ellum in the 2000s, and everything shut down. And they tried to regentrify that area, and then after the housing bubble burst, all the contractors and stuff like abandoned the area, and all the clubs started coming back slowly, and now all the douchebags are back.
Yay!
Overcrowded again with people walking around on their cell phones, just like you said.
Yeah, but
when we were down there,
Deep Ellum is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
We had a ton of fun down there for that for Ska by Ska West a few years ago.
Oh, the shows are
great. People were down there though.
Yeah,
that place was just packed with people.
Yeah,
so many people.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was a good time though.
The first time I ever went to Deep Ellum, it wasn't quite as big, right? So this is probably like the late 90s, right? And it wasn't quite as big. It was about 5 blocks long of just like, like a block long strip, right? And they had I forgot what they called it, but it was basically the drunk bus. And the drunk bus would pick you up at a club and then just drive you in a big snake around the neighborhood and back and forth, and just like literally like drunk girls like and then falling off the the bus, and like guys like it was just crazy. And back then it wasn't like nice, it was kind of like this kind of shady bit of town that they were trying to make more accessible to people that just wanted to get stupid drunk. And now when I went back, I hardly recognized it. It's a little bit different of a place now. The storefronts are better, they're nicer, it's kind of bigger. The street was still a little choppy, but oh man, I remember we drove into a puddle at the Deep Ellum when we were coming out of a show, and someone said, that looks like a pretty big puddle, and I'm all, it's probably cool to drive across. It's right in the middle of the cross section of the road, right? So I drove across it, ka-boom! The trailer was stuck in the puddle. We had to stop the car, undo the trailer, and pull it out of the puddle, because the nose went into the puddle, because it was about 2.5, 3 foot deep. And learned my lesson. See a big puddle, go around it.
They don't want to fix some roads in our part of the country.
Yeah.
Well, see, here in Utah, road work is it's a constant summer thing. It's when you start seeing the orange cones pop up, we know that summer is coming, because they work on the roads all summer long, every single one. It's absurd.
Well, you guys also have the precedent of the Olympics. When the Olympics came to the Winter Olympics came to Salt Lake, the governor said we're gonna change everything all at once, and we only have like 6 months to do it, and everyone's like, what? And then it was just spaghetti, just nonsense.
That was an insane time. But I tell you what, when the Olympics rolled through here in 2002. Yeah. There was so much fun stuff happening. There were so many shows every single night. Downtown Salt Lake felt like New York City. You're sitting there at like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you're sitting at a crosswalk with like 100 other people waiting for the crosswalk to turn. It did not feel like Salt Lake.
I'm going to put that in the quote book. Salt Lake felt like New York City, because I don't think anybody ever felt that feeling. Except for people that lived through that period.
No, for sure. But man, there was shows every single night. I remember I saw Real Big Fish one night. I saw No Effects one night. I saw the Mad Caddies one night. Like, just shows going on every single night.
That's
sweet.
It was a good time.
That sounds
and
all
Nate
right.
was playing every one of them.
Every
Probably,
single
dude. Dude's a hard worker, man. And when he's not playing with us, he's playing by himself, sitting at a bar at some fancy resort.
I'm sure he's playing by himself.
Is there that in Salt Lake City? Is there still that venue, Kilby's Court? Kirby's Court?
Kilby Court is still there. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Court is
I'm
still
so
there.
glad.
They've updated bathrooms. They have bathrooms.
I don't even think they had bathrooms when I lived there. I'm just kidding. Sorry, Kilby Court. Of course you did.
I took my daughter to her first show at Kilby Court. And when I took her there, I was saying how I played a show there with my high school ska band back in the late 90s. And I'm back there playing again a show there at Kilby Court, and it's still the exact same.
I love
except for
that
the stage
place.
is grown.
I love that place so much. It just is so fun. It's just like, I don't know, it was fun. Warm nights in Utah at Kilby, it was just killer.
Yep. Cold nights with the bonfire, too.
Oh, right. I forgot about the fire. Y'all, I used to live there, but only for 3 years, but it made an impact on my life. It was fun. The music scene there's fun.
Yeah.
For sure. I always like the fact that in California, there's so many rules and regulations on alcohol. So it's like if you buy a beer at a bar, you have to sit behind a chain link fence that separates you from non-beer buyers because you may offend the non-beer buyers with your beerness. And in Salt Lake, we drove in and we're like, oh, this is the foundation of fascism. This is religion owns this town. And they're like, yeah, you want to go to Broovies? I'm like, what's a Broovie? They're like, oh, it's a movie place where they serve beer. You can sit there.
Doing?
Well,
Broovies still around. They're slowly trucking. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So yeah, the cool thing about Broovies is that you can get. They had. I think they had pizza, and then they had like your standard fare, right? Your popcorn and your chewables, right?
Yeah,
and then
and stuff too.
Yeah, and they had really good, like just beer, just like locally brewed beer. You know that's
all of our craft brews. Yeah,
amazing.
Well, that was the thing that amazed me the most about the first time that I ever went to Salt Lake City is like we roll in, and everybody's like, oh, the beer is like 2.8%, and they don't have anything, and we get in there, and it's like all the Pabst and Bud and all that kind of stuff is like just water. And then Craig Waddell from Surgeon General was like, "Here, have this," and he hands me this polygamy porter.
Oh,
and I'm like 7.6%. What the hell is this?
Yeah, you take it up the mountain. And it's even more
oh my God! Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't think that they actually brewed beer in Utah, and they're just like,
I always tell
they're like, no,
they is a lot more liberal than you think it's going to be.
Oh yeah. Like, oh yeah.
They just changed the alcohol content in Oklahoma like 2 years ago.
Really?
So we have 3.2 all the way up until like 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was awful.
Huh.
And you couldn't buy alcohol at a store after midnight, like in the grocery stores. And we just now have like wine in our grocery stores.
In OC?
It's a little crazy. In Oklahoma City, yeah.
Huh.
Did you have to go like down south to Texas to get your brew and then come back up?
We could go to a liquor store and buy it, but it was hot.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't buy cold, high point alcohol in a liquor store ready to go.
Got it.
We still
you had
have liquor in the grocery store.
You had to plan
we only have
days.
beer and wines in the grocery store.
Okay.
I can't even buy liquor at the gas station.
Wow.
See, Oregon is a lot like that. Like you can't go to like Safeway and get actual liquor. You have to go to the state-run liquor stores.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
And so
we did make a lot of trips to Texas for beer.
Oregon's weird though. You can't even pump your own gas in Oregon.
I'm all about that life.
I'm about it too. I lived there for a few years, and when I moved to Seattle, I was like, who's pumping my gas? Like, where are you?
See, and the first time I went to Oregon, I pulled up at a gas pump and I jumped out, and the guy was like, "Whoa, what are you doing?" I've got this.
You're like,
get back in your car.
I had that experience.
Nice.
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
they have the same rules in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Jersey is a no pumping gas state too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wow.
I didn't know that. I've only ever driven through New Jersey.
Isn't that weird?
Same.
It's like bookends. You've got
never
Portland
stopped
and you get New
there.
Jersey. They're just on either side of the U.S. and they're just like, no pumping your gas, and everybody else.
Years ago.
Because I pump my own gas in Jersey.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
You rebel.
Actually, you
It's
know
like,
what?
put the card in, filled it up,
You know,
and
it's
left.
You know, it's interesting in Oregon, at least in like a lot of the rural, because of COVID, they lifted the gas pumping thing. So they allowed people to like pump their own gas in a lot of the rural towns because of COVID. They're just like,
Yeah,
no,
that seems like it
don't-
would be backwards because if
I
you
know,
only have
right?
one person pumping the
Yeah,
gas,
that doesn't make any sense.
that one person is only sharing their germs with themselves, and then you have everyone else.
Yeah,
pumping
but then-
gas, and
Good
now
point.
you have like the exchange of like the credit cards and the money and everything with like the person on the
Yeah, but
gas, and they're now that one
If the guy-
person is contacting like 75 people directly face to face every day. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I put that in the same category as like working at the drive-up window at Jack in a Box.
Right.
But
yeah,
it's like as long as you're washing your hands and you're not like sticking your head out the window like, okay, take in some of that air.
Wait, you guys wear masks when you like order at a drive-through? Like when
Yeah.
you're like, I do too, but like I feel like most people don't do that. I'm like, oh, I gotta put my mask on when I get my Panera salad.
Not to be
yeah,
like
no,
scary or morbid, but I work in a hospital during the day, and I just
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah.
you
See,
got the
my
people like
wife
crazy.
works at the hospital too, and she said that they take, of course, ultra precautions. She works in labor and delivery, so she's got her mask, she's got face shield on. You know, she's doing the whole 9 yards. Even her and all of her coworkers, they don't take breaks together, so that way they're not eating around each other. And then she's more worried about me in my position, being in a bike shop, because I'm very customer facing, and so everyone's coming in and we're touching bikes and I'm working on people's bikes, and so she's like, I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about you getting COVID before I do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Really makes a difference when you're around hospital people. Like I don't work at a hospital, but I have to go to the hospital every day, and like people, like they're so it's just so normal to be safe that it's like easy to pick that up, you know? And for that, like I've been really grateful.
Yeah.
For clarification, I work in a Starbucks inside a hospital.
Oh, okay.
And,
Still though.
You're not actually working on the needy. You're working.
Oh, but we serve
the needy, the caffeine
nurses, and we serve the doctors, and we never closed. We never closed the entire time. We never closed.
Well,
we
Nice.
weren't allowed to.
I would
half
actually.
half my staff has been sick with COVID.
Oh my
never closed.
gosh.
I would think
Good.
that like working at a Starbucks in like a hospital would actually be a little more dangerous than actually working within the hospital itself, because people
Patients can go
are
get
everybody can go
And
up
they
to you.
never
You're a public face.
closed it to the public. It was open the entire time.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
No thanks. That's no thank you.
They never closed.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna put a link in the comments again. Chelsea, you said you had to go to the hospital every day, and I'm gonna put a link up about the reason why you're going to the hospital
Yeah.
word.
all the time.
Yeah, Chelsea, tell them about the sea,
You want
how the sea
I know
has.
about
Yes.
my radioactive boobies.
Yes.
All right, no, I'm just kidding. I got diagnosed with breast cancer the same week that I broke my nose surfing.
Oh.
Unrelated.
Great week.
Unrelated.
Are you sure that
Um,
surfing doesn't cause breast cancer?
I'm
I'm just-
really sure.
I heard the windmills do.
Actually, on that note, you're not supposed to, while you're getting radiation on your chest, you're not supposed to have any extreme temperatures, like really hot or really cold. But I had the opportunity to go surfing last Monday, so I just, padded up and whatever and put on my wetsuit and I surfed. I was probably in the cold water. It was only about 40 degrees outside, so I don't know how cold the water was. Next time y'all complain about it being cold out, think about me surfing with breast cancer in 40-degree weather. Okay.
Definitely
But
win.
let me
Did you do it
tell
uphill both ways.
Both ways, bare feet.
Barefoot.
Oh, I didn't. Anyway, that was the first time I've been pain-free in weeks. I think it was just being in that ocean water and being cold and taking the inflammation down, you know?
Yeah.
And it lasted almost, that pain-free feeling lasted like 24 hours, and then it came back with a vengeance.
Ooh.
But my last day of radiation treatment is tomorrow. So, and you can see I kept my hair.
Yeah.
I didn't have to have chemo. So here's my cancer PSA for all of you. I am young. I am only 35. There was no symptoms or anything, but like getting screened for things early can make a huge difference. Like if I would have waited till most women are 40 before they get screened, it might have been a totally different outcome. But for this, I was able to have a few small surgeries and just have to deal with radiation, and I'll have to take a medication for like 10 years. But I can keep my anatomy, and I it's expensive, but I got off. I think like I was really lucky, you know? And so get yourself checked, because dealing with it early, it sucks, but it sucks a lot worse if you get a cancer diagnosis and they're like, surprise, you're going to live. And so go do your stuff. That's my PSA.
Absolutely. And with that mention of it being very expensive, she does have a GoFundMe link that's in the feed now. So if you guys feel like throwing a couple of ducats in her bucket, then she'll be more than happy to accept.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so embarrassing. But
No.
you know, I learned one thing of cancer. Well, I've learned lots, but if I'm gonna like tell you one thing I learned is to accept help from people.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with music.
That's what the community is there for.
Yeah, my music would suck if I didn't have help. And it's the same thing with illnesses. Like, you know, so I told myself I'm not going to say no when people offer me help, and it's made the experience much easier.
Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
a little less mental.
Yeah, especially during COVID. Oh my gosh, everybody here has been sick during COVID. Nobody's allowed to go to the hospital with me for my surgeries. Nobody's allowed to visit me to make sure that I'm okay. If I'm exposed, I have to quarantine just like anybody else. And then here you are with cancer, quarantining at home. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I have at least one non-emergency medical procedure that needs to be done at some point. And I am just pushing it off because put it this way: not only do I not want to put myself in that condition of going into an environment where I know people are going for COVID treatment. To have a surgical procedure. But on top of that, like I don't want to stress anybody out. It got to the point in the Bay Area, we had gotten to the point where there was only like 7 to 10% availability of rooms, and in LA they got down to almost 0% rooms, and so I'm waiting for this to gloss over, because as long as I can live with what I got, I can live with it for a while. You know, you guys. I'll just
been over capacity.
Yeah, right.
Say what?
We've been over capacity for the last 2 months.
That is amazing.
Like, you get a car wreck, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There was
That's so scary.
There was an excellent article that came out on Bloomberg yesterday, and apparently we hit a milestone in the United States yesterday that there are more people that have gotten at least the first, if not the second, vaccine shot than there are people that have COVID now.
Nice.
So we hit that
awesome.
milestone.
Nice.
That's something. It's a movement, I hope, in the right direction. But
The New York Times says like the whole U.S. is down almost 40% of infections, and so I'm knocking on wood. Hope we keep moving that way.
I saw a tweet from New York Times that said that we could possibly be behind this by June because of the rollout of the vaccines, and because of people.
So amazing.
Yeah. So I'll share that out with you guys later if you need something to like motivate you to get through the summer.
Right.
I don't trust that, but it is definitely good to hear that there's some optimism out there, because
it has totally changed how I've been doing music. You know, like I feel like I'm kind of a newer to this, and I'm like, you know, I finally found people I can work with, and I finally raised the money to pay them, and I finally have an EP. Oh my gosh! And then I was like, well, now I got to figure it all out again. So I'm like, how do
welcome to ska.
Oh my gosh, I love ska. If it wasn't for my ska friends, I wouldn't have horn stuff in my song. So good job, ska.
Hey, last year I went to LA to record for the Mr. Kingpin album in like mid-January. I was out there in LA, and pretty much I think like 3 weeks later everything was on lockdown.
Yeah.
So we managed to like slide right under and get rhythm tracks recorded right before.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, I was hoping to release my EP in April, and we still had to record a choir and horns and all this stuff, and I couldn't do it. And so we sat and waited. And then I was like, you know what, MIDI, man, sorry, I want to get something out there. But it's disappointing, you know, you have to make these sacrifices.
Right.
It is what it is, but it's like I'm like relearning the whole thing.
If you want terrible horns,
that's
Johnny plays trombone.
That's what I was going to
be in a band.
So that's what I was going to bring up is that part of this is the show in general is just to get people to start talking about music again, because there are some groups like the MPCs and the New Normal and the Smoke and Mirrors and the Housebound Collective. All these groups are starting to get the idea that like maybe, and the Mighty Boss Tones, that we should get our friends together and do some recordings. But over the course of this, I've realized that just about anybody can record with anybody, and and so you could just send files, send them the MP3 of your track with your little digital horn track on it, and then Brian will send you back some wailing trumpet playing the same part but way better, and then you guys can stack it. This is it. This is the connection. That's what we're doing.
Could you imagine if we went through this COVID thing like 20 years ago when everybody didn't have all this technology right in their home?
That would have.
And they didn't have their little USB mics.
Yeah. it's like the advancements of like home recording technology, like that's all like great, but also just the like connectivity of being able to like this face to face. Like we are literally spread out over like 7,000 miles right now talking to each other.
It's so cool.
This past Saturday, my family had a little family event where we had a little Zoom meeting, and we had people attending from Utah. Of course, we had people in Omaha, Nebraska. We had people down in Dallas. We had my wife's parents were with us from China. They're on the coast of China right now.
What?
And we were all like real time conversing and spending time with each other. And like literally like global.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Amazing. Yeah. No, we've had people from the UK on this show. We had somebody. Yeah. Where was he? Was he in Thailand?
He was in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
Thailand.
There's the beach.
Yeah. And it's like, cool. He's all, yeah, I bought this like wood boat to like go out and fish in the other day. It's just like,
that's so cool.
Okay. Right?
This is my first hangout with anybody outside of my family, like my wife and me and my bandmates in over a year. So, hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, it's like all I do on Zoom with kids is play Among Us with teenagers in the evening on like for my
Sweet.
It's been fun
my
seeing
kids got
adults
me playing
learn
Among Us. Yeah.
stuff.
Nice.
I don't know. You sound sus.
I resemble that.
Awesome. Oh man. So yeah, you know, we're getting close to the hour. Let's do this. Let's talk about how we encourage musicians and artists and and other people, how do we reach out to them? How do we make sure that we start like really pushing the ball forward, really just taking the globe by storm and saying, this is what we need creativity. We'll go person by person, but I think that I truly believe that in these meetings that we've been doing, or the show, that we have an opportunity for so many brains to think about different concepts that we can actually come up with the key. It's out there somewhere, and we need to take the key and file the right teeth in it to open the lock and make everything happen, right? So let's do a round. Mr. Bravo, have you got any ideas of how we can reach out to other musicians, other people in the industry, and make things happen faster for people once the lockdown gets released?
Kind of drawing a blank.
Right.
I live in a COVID world, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's going to be like that guy. Did you guys watch Gilligan's Island when you were kids?
Yes.
There was the episode where
No.
the Japanese soldier lands on the island, and he doesn't know that the war is over. So he's taken all the people in Gilligan's Island and put them in food. And they're like, the war's over. And he's like, no, the war's not over. No, the war's over. He's going to be the guy. Everyone's going to be partying, and he's going to be locked down in COVID.
He's going to have his mask.
No, but well, seriously, I say, I think as soon as more people have gotten the vaccine, especially, once we get through the summer, we should really try to support each other's bands.
Well, I believe so. Yeah, absolutely.
And the amazing thing is that the ska scene in particular is really good about working together. There's not a lot of competition. Bands are always trying to help each other out, booking shows for each other. And so I think we need to do that. Another thing from yesterday's show, Alex was talking about, like, get your merch game on point.
Right.
I will re-stress that, because
I'm going to take a note real quick. Taking a note.
Because people are going to be like really thirsting for entertainment once they feel safe getting out there. Yep. And we are hoping that well, I know you talked to Tim Receiver recently on the show. So, they still, Supernova's still in the works, and they have a plan, and they have a contingency plan. So we definitely can't give up on live shows.
Yeah, definitely. Royce, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think all the music that's happening, through this has been really awesome and inspiring to me. It's making me try to get more technology in my house so I can help, because I've had people reach out to me and go, yo, you play the Barry sax. The Barry sax would sound so good on this track. And I'm like, I don't have any recording stuff. I'm on my cell phone right now. Like, I don't have anything that would make it sound good, And so, but at the same time, seeing all these awesome videos of people recording remotely, like throughout the whole entire world, has been really inspiring. And then taking that forward as live music becomes a reality again. That's just so much more collaboration and help for each other. Because me, like, I've worked with Curtis before, getting him and having the ska show to come through Salt Lake. I had a show planned with Jon Jackson before everything hit. I also, right when it was hitting, I had a show with the Pilfers with Cooley that was supposed to be happening in Salt Lake City. And so I was doing all this stuff to try to start doing show promotion as well as playing music, and I can't wait to get back to that.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, just live music is such a release for me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's probably the same for you guys.
Yes.
That like being out there, you know, it's not just about having the fans go, man, that was a really great song. I really enjoyed it. Haha. You know, it's you know, it's like exactly. It's for me, it's like, you know, I enjoy putting myself out there so much, and sure, recording a song is awesome and sharing that with everyone is awesome, but I can't wait to get back to that live experience where, you know, you have that direct exchange. Like you play something and that person that's sitting in front of you is looking at you going, wow, you know, I'm feeling this right now, you know, and seeing people, you know, enjoy it. That's what I can't wait to get back to. And I hope people here in Utah, especially, there's a lot of people here that don't take everything seriously. And I hope that we continue to grow, and I hope people here start taking things more seriously so we can get back to that.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, even if that means that there's like plastic dividers, like, you know, the drum kit divider that you can put, like if you put that at the front of the stage between us, I've even seen people.
I'm all for
have you seen the bubble shows?
body condoms. We'll do it. We'll
a drum page for every musician.
Work for Patrick Swayze, right?
You guys know the Flaming Lips, right?
The bubble shows.
They've been doing
the bubbles. Brands that are doing bubble shows.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm down for that too. You know,
there is one thing though that
I had
I worry about the bubble shows. I worry about the bubble shows because in our area in San Jose, the Kaiser Hospital, they were having an employee appreciation party that was not approved, but everybody was like, well, we're all in the building, we'll just kind of like stay to the corners of the rooms and we'll have a little bit of cake and just celebrate the fact that we're here in this environment. And one of the employees said, I'm going to make everybody happy by showing up in a duncy Christmas tree inflatable outfit, right? So it's got a little fan on, and he's like, yay, I'm a Christmas tree, and everyone's all woo, having a good time. And then 70% of those employees came down with COVID. Turned out the guy that rented the outfit, he had been tested like the prior week and he had passed, no problem. But he contracted it somewhere in between and then didn't feel anything, got this stupid thing, which was just expelling air. And then everybody is like walking past him and feeling the breeze from the little motor that inflates the tree. And everybody got sick. Yeah,
just
so
blowing it everywhere. Oh my gosh.
The little COVID ball concert idea. I don't know if I'm sold on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm sold on it. I don't know.
As a wind player too, like the biggest thing that my wife even points out to me, she's like, "You're just shooting like steam and vapors everywhere." And unlike your instrument, Brian, like Brian's instrument, a trumpet, it's very directional. The air only comes out one spot, right? With my saxophone, the air comes out every single hole that's open, right? Like it comes out of everywhere, not just the bell. And so, like, it's like, what do I do? Like, do I just wrap myself in like something?
Playing trumpet, like I've got what's called a bucket mute that literally clips over the edge of the bell, and the whole thing is just this like chamber that's stuffed full of cotton swab. So it's like I can put something over my bell and like catch all of that vapor and everything coming out, and that's okay. I just still don't want to play in public for like another like 6 or 8 months.
Not till schools are normal. That's kind of
right.
my
Exactly.
thing. When schools have been normal for like a few months.
Yeah. The only way I would play in public right now is the restaurant that I work at in San Francisco. I would play on the roof, 40 feet above everybody on the streets.
That's cool.
Let the COVID rain down on everyone.
Have you guys seen the Slacker?
Purple rain.
Say what?
The Slacker, since this has all happened, my buddy Dave Hilliard, he's He's made a custom mask that goes over his as well as he has a bell cover and stuff. So
but that doesn't help with all the little holes on the sides.
No,
or when you like take a breath
too,
after you're.
They've also been playing like no shows and like 300 yards away from anybody.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Sure. Chelsea, what are your ideas? What do you think that we can do as musicians to encourage a healthy return to music and excitement in everyone?
We can support each other. We can play each other's stuff. We can add each other's music to playlists. We can collaborate. This year I have a couple projects. Like I'm like, okay, crap, now I have to do a music video. Like, oh, what do I do? So I have been working with a filmmaker in Detroit, my little brother, who's amazing. Oh my gosh, did you just drop your phone?
Totally. Just I just got a notification come through and it just vibrated and fell over.
So let me plug my brother, Michael Babish. He's an incredible filmmaker in Detroit. Talk about working across the country. I found an amazing choreographer named Shannon DeGroot who's going to do a dance to one of my songs. Because I can't be there right now and actually be in the video. I want to work with my brother. He's in Detroit. So we are collaborating over the internet. She's going to figure something out. It's going to be COVID safe, just one person here, one person there. And, you know, collaborating with people. I don't know the hot thing about dance. This is how I dance. I just make my face.
It's all in the face.
You know,
you've got 90% of it down.
Yeah, great. Collaborating with other artists. Like one really cool thing that I like about music is that everybody uses it, whether it's for a workout class or a protest or a surf video. Like I can collaborate with a filmmaker, I can collaborate with a dancer, I can collaborate with somebody who does their pottery on Instagram. Like, and it's like, it just adds to the art that I do. So that's kind of what I think we should be doing, whether or not COVID changes, you know, our restrictions. But like, you know, promoting each other, getting excited about each other. I mean, what an incredible resource we have of the internet. You know, we're all small businesses, right? But we don't think about it like that. Everyone's like, promote your small business. And I'm like, here's my music, stream me. And they're like, what? But like, it doesn't cost me anything to put y'all's music on my playlists, you know?
Yeah,
so
let's
like,
do it.
Those of you who are listening right now, if you want to support artists and musicians, stream our stuff, post our YouTube videos, like get excited, use it in Snapchats. Buy our
make us rich. Buy
Wait, are you doing this to be rich? I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, like.
Well, you're still playing ska.
Oh, that's my problem.
You got to divide it amongst 15 players. So.
But it's so
and I'm a bike
easy.
Mechanic too, so I'm not in this for the money.
It's so easy to support musicians, and I think people think like, oh my gosh, like we don't have live music and this and that. But if you stream my music 1 million times online, somebody's going to sponsor me. Somebody's going to like. While you're cooking with your kids at home, put my song on repeat, please.
There you go.
I told the band members, I said, what you guys should be doing every morning is going to our Spotify playlist, our albums, and just hit play and continue, and then turn the phone volume off and walk away.
I do that all day. I play y'all's music. I added all of you guys that had it that I can do, and I play it while I'm not at home. I just let it roll. And, you know, that's like a huge way you can support us. So people out there, play our music, enjoy it.
I was wondering how I made that penny today.
Thanks,
volume was down.
You made a penny?
I'm working on
2/3
of a penny here.
Well,
and speaking of 2/3 of a penny, Jon Michael Jackson, what is your concept? What do you think we can do to make this more exciting, more vivacious, more quicker of a recovery for arts and entertainment in general?
All right, so it's the same reason I started my little small record label. I have, like, over the years, like, and I've had band members be like, stop doing that. But, like, showing new bands how to get gigs booked, showing new bands where to buy their t-shirts and how to price things, and like where to go to record, and like what is a good price for what you're getting. And I think that nurturing, I think nurturing, okay, so ska, right? Like I was a part of the ska scene for a few years, and honestly it changed my life. I love the ska scene. I'm not in a ska band now, but it changed my life. And so they showed me how to book shows and how like we can collaborate, and like I'll have a friend in Dallas and you know, like he's like, hey, you have to check out this band in Salt Lake. Oh, you're playing a show in Vegas? Well, I have friends that live in Vegas too, and I've never been a part of something like that before. I've done punk rock all my life. I was a trombone player first, and I started playing drums so I could play punk rock because that was cool. But I've never been a part of a community. It was always super competitive, and nobody took me under their wing. I learned everything because I did everything wrong. And it took me forever to do that. And then now, like the band I'm in now, like my guitar player is 21 and my bass player is 25, and I'm 10 years older than my bass player. And they're like, you got it all figured out. And I'm like, no, I screwed up really badly for 20 years. And that's what I want to do with my record label is like, hey, it's not hard. This is what you need to do. And I'm like constantly doing research, like on where to get records, like where to get CDs at a good price. Who does the fastest shipment and turnaround times, and like booking is not that difficult, and I think a lot of people are really scared to put themselves out there. And
I'm taking notes. I'm taking more notes.
That's what you can do. You will always have a no unless you ask for something. Like you were talking about your cancer treatment, you will always hear no unless you ask for what you want. And so like that's where I got, like I was like Scott Beggs in Dallas. I was like, hey Scott, please play my band. Please let me come down and play, you know? And then I finally got booked at Three Links, which is the hottest place in Dallas. I've talked to Curtis a long time ago when I was in the big news. I was like, where do I play? And then I got to play the Caravan. Yeah. You know, and then Royce hooked me up this last time I went to Salt Lake. Like I played Salt Lake a couple of times, but it was always on my own accord, and I always had to do all the research myself, which
Hit me up like if you want to come play in Salt Lake again. We'll get you going.
And that's the thing about the ska community, and I think that's what the music scene's gonna need. And I honestly feel like with Ticketmaster and all of these big concert promoters and event people, they're not giving guarantees anymore. So I feel like the music scene is about to crash back into the 90s. It's about to be all DIY all over again. And
that's
so
exactly what I was saying yesterday, actually.
The market is ours, and all we have to do is help each other out. And I guarantee if we help each other out, we'll all float at the same time.
Oh my gosh, my heart.
It's also a really weird time in music too, because at the same time, I've got my kids who I've got a couple teenagers in the house. They point out to me some like weird band that's on YouTube that just makes like songs about video game music, you know, and they're signed on Warner Brothers. And I'm like, what?
Yep.
Like, how did that happen? It's because they did stuff on YouTube first, and then they got all these people following on YouTube, and then Warner Brothers was like, there's money to be made here.
Yep.
And the TikTok. Like there's songs that are getting on the radio because they hit big on TikTok first, and now they're on the top 40.
That's another thing is if you like any of the people in the feed, if you like any of the bands or the musicians that you're hearing right now, go to their YouTube page and like their YouTube page, subscribe to it. The reason being, and we just figured this out, is that YouTube has a much bigger audience, even though people don't think of it as like a social medium. They don't think of going to YouTube and like joining something. But those people that got the most clicks on YouTube are the ones that actually became stars. They're the ones that took over the industry. They're the ones that did these things. And we realized that YouTube has a live function, right? Just like this, just like Facebook does, but it's a bigger audience and it's high quality, really high quality. So they won't allow an artist to make a live video happen, live video feed, until they have over 1,000 subscribers. So Monkey, who's been a band for 25 years, and we've been begging our fans to join YouTube. We've got maybe 180 people.
130.
130 people in YouTube, and that's really unfortunate. So anybody in the feed, if they're listening right now, subscribe to us in YouTube.
Drop the links in the chat. I'll subscribe and I'll repost your stuff.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like seeing people excited about helping each other. Because when I remember when I first started playing music, it was very competitive, and you had very few people that would have your back. And then slowly, as the money kind of fell out of music, it got more and more like, well, there's nothing to fight over, so we can be friends. And then now that COVID's happened, it's like music is completely gone. It's like, no, we need to be friends. We need to hold on to each other. This is going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, your success does not take away from mine. Exactly. It enhances mine.
Exactly, and like Royce was saying, a wave rises all boats. So we make that happen.
You made me sound way better with that quote, because that's not what I said, but I
believe the official term is a rising tide floats all boats. I think it's the actual. True. But great, it's been a great time hanging out with you guys, and I just want to let you know that if after the feed we can actually turn off the feed and have a without the public seeing us. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us. We are the Bidness. Let me make a one more swipe. We got Jon E Bravo of Mr. Kingpin. We have Royce McDaniel from the Gringos. We have Jon Michael Jackson of On Holiday, and we have Chelsea Wilde of Chelsea Wilde and the Diploids. Thank you very much for having for making the time to be on the show, and enjoy.
Yay!
Yeah, guys.
You.
Nice.
All right. Nice.